You ready?
Take Three Wrestling Podcast. We're back. It is the 31st of July, 2025. Got a chock full show for you guys tonight. We have our previews of the two-night summer festings. We have our final Superfest card. We will also eventually get to the reason why you guys heard the 10-bell salute here at the beginning of the show. With the, I don't know that untimely is the word, but the sudden passing of Hulk.
Sudden might be the better verbiage there. Even though, as we've come to kind of find out over the last 7 days, that it wasn't necessarily as sudden as it seemed to the public eye. Kind of in some bad health there for a little while, but yeah, at least to the public eye, we were unaware, at least to the extent of how sick he was.
Yeah. We would have actually probably have had a lot different of a show last week. Because we recorded on Wednesday. You guys were with us on the live stream. You guys saw that due to my work schedule. So we didn't do our show on Thursday. I feel like our show would have taken a little bit different of an approach probably on Thursday had it just been 12 hours or so since the announcement. This is one of those times where, I thought about it because I was off on Friday about, hopping on and doing a solo dolo thing. And I was just like, you know what? I'd rather not, because I had a feeling we'd talk about it in long form with the three of us. So that's why I was like, we'll save it for that. It was one of those shocking, as we said, wasn't shocking to us, as Jim has so elegantly put it. Maybe not to other people around the Hulkster, but yeah, kind of a crazy 7 days in the land of professional wrestling, from the tributes that people have not liked to the tributes that people have liked to the people who have decided to dance on a grave that they physically can't because he's being cremated and he's not being buried. So you can't really dance on the grave of someone who is cremated.
Yeah.
He's being cremated?
According to the Pinal County sheriffs, in the report I saw that officially ruled his cause of death a heart attack, and then that he had been fighting leukemia at some point and things like that, they said that Hogan's remains are going to be cremated in the next couple weeks and given to his family.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. There's nothing I hate more than some overcooked hot dogs.
You just want to run it now?
Yeah. Might as well get that disclaimer. The views and comments made by Joe do not reflect Mike or Jim or the Take Three Wrestling Podcast.
No, I mean, listen. I was the biggest Hulkamaniac when I was a kid. I was. Like, if we're being honest, my first ever favorite wrestler was Hulk Hogan. As most people my age, I feel like might be the case. If you started watching wrestling when you were young enough, and honestly, I've watched wrestling as long as I can literally remember. Like, I can't remember a time when I didn't. So it's not a surprise that he was absolutely my favorite wrestler when I was a kid. So I forget where I saw this. I don't know if this is something one of you guys shared. I don't know if this is something I saw on Facebook that somebody said, or maybe even just like, I don't know if it's somebody that I know that said this or somewhere I saw it like on Twitter or something. But somebody said basically like, really sad that Hulk Hogan, the wrestler, is gone. Not at all sad that the human being behind the character is gone.
Yeah. And that's been like the conflicting thing. I think the thing that I posted on my social media about it, and I didn't post right away because it is complex for me, and I think the thing that's important is, while you can recognize other people's experience and you can respect other people's feelings and why they feel a certain way, and if there's people who don't feel an ounce of sadness about it, that doesn't bother me. I'm not here to tell anyone how they should feel or how they should grieve or how they should think about this event or any event that occurs. But like for me, I know what I know about Terry in the last decade. At least what I can see publicly. I don't know the man personally. I've never met the man. I've never even met him at a meet and greet or anything like that. But I know the things that he said behind closed doors that were caught on a camera. I know that from eyewitness and personal accounts of people in a company that I've been a fan of for 37 years, have said that there wasn't personal apologies or remorse. So I don't have a lot of sadness for Terry. But I fell in love with the sport in a TV show when I was 3 years old that I've been a fan of ever since. And I talk about on the internet every week for 11 years. And Hulk Hogan is a huge part of that story. Like, I know that pro wrestling existed before the World Wrestling Federation and had Hulkamania and Vince McMahon not come along, that pro wrestling would still exist to a degree. And it may still be big in Texas, and it still may be big in, the southeastern portion of the country, and it may still be big in Minnesota, and it still may be big in Calgary, and it still may be big in New York City. But would Lancaster, Pennsylvania have a thriving independent wrestling company? Would, Poughkeepsie, New York have professional wrestling? Would, insert small city, small town here, America, have independent wrestling that'd be a popular? I don't know. But what I know is, like, I fell in love with the WWF when I was a kid, and a large reason of that is because of Hulk Hogan.
Same.
So yeah, I was a little Hulkster, man. Like, yeah.
Can I pose something?
Yeah.
And I don't mean this to sound dark. It might sound dark. In a weird sort of way, is the legacy of Hulk Hogan maybe not guaranteed to now be better than it might have been if Terry was still out there doing damage to the name. Because I do think that 20, 30 years from now, people will still talk about Hulk Hogan. And I think 20, 30 years from now, they'll be talking about all of the accomplishments. They'll be talking about how he was the big star. They'll be reliving the big moments. And it won't be, oh, and he was a shitty person in real life. Like, if people move on from things, like John F. Kennedy, when he was alive, was a womanizer, but nowadays he's only known for having a really busy airport.
Right.
Things like, as time progresses, people have the happy memories more than they have the negative ones. So in a way, I sort of feel like this kickstarts kind of moving back into a place. And I think like we've even seen it in the discourse recently, because in the last week, like for a very long time now, it's just been kind of F that guy. And in the last week, you've had a lot more people being like, no, okay, what he did for wrestling, what he did there, absolutely amazing. Like people haven't given him his flowers for a very long time.
Right.
And now they're starting to again. And I think it's just going to upward trend. And like eventually he's just going to be remembered for the good stuff.
I think,
go ahead, Mike.
I think you have a opportunity to, but I think that there is a severe thought process of it's not this generation. It's not this 18 to 25 that I think you have an opportunity to live the peak and the praise of Terry. I think it's people like myself, people like you, people like Jim, people, who will inevitably have nieces, nephews, grandchildren. You're older and you're watching professional wrestling. You may show that 8-year-old kid, that grandchild, that niece, that nephew, hey, me and your dad used to watch this every Saturday morning. Or me and your mom, at the house, etc. Terry did a lot of bad things off the camera. And in today's society, and again, I'm trying to toe a PG line here where I don't offend anyone. There are a lot of people that are, and rightfully so, upset at some of the decisions that Terry Bollea made on his personal time. And they're dragging him through the mud over it. And for the most part, rightly so. But this is the generation of social media. In 5 years, when we start to little by little forget the bad that Hulk Hogan did, or the wrongs that he did, or, stuff like that, there will be some 17-year-old kid who just turned 22 who doesn't know the context of anything involving Hulk Hogan that's going to find a video on social media of him dropping the N-bomb. Hate. So on paper, you'd hope that over the next 5, 10, 15 years, it turns into, we don't remember the bad decisions that Terry Bollea made. We remember the masterpiece and what was drawn out for us by the immortal Hulk Hogan. I mean, I love Tim to death. I was watching the show tonight. He got angry because the state of Florida decided to make tomorrow National Hulk Hogan Day, and they're flying the flags at half-mast in the state that he was born in. And I get it. You want to be mad because Terry Bollea said racist things and things along those lines. By all means, I support that until the day will set. Ron DeSantis didn't name it Terry Bollea Day. It's Hulk Hogan Day. It's remembering an icon in the state. It's remembering a guy who kept something alive for a real long time. And just when you thought professional wrestling was going away, what did he do? Had the heel turn of the century to reinvigorate professional wrestling. There are people to this day that will still walk around wearing NWO shirts. And I bet you those people still hate the fact that Hulk Hogan did the stuff that he did.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not wearing a Terry Bollea shirt. They're wearing a Hulk Hogan shirt. And I think that's the thing that people, there's that gray area, and there's people that are just hard on the left, and there's people that are hard on the right, and there's the people that are in the middle that are just trying to be like, no, I don't support what Terry Bollea did. I don't support the things that he said, myself included. But I'll be damned if I'm going to let anybody besmirch and talk shit upon what that man did for what we're doing right now, which is talking about professional wrestling. Because I will tell you wholeheartedly, no Hulk Hogan, I'm not watching wrestling. No Hulk Hogan, Jim made it abundantly clear that there probably isn't a mainstream for professional wrestling.
Yeah.
He saved it at WrestleMania 1. He saved it at WrestleMania 3. He saved it when he formed the NWO. He helped rejuvenate the Attitude Era when he came back and had arguably his greatest WrestleMania match with The Rock. Boo him all you want for the decisions that he made as a human being. But to sit here and celebrate another human being's life ending, that's not something I can support because you're just as bad as he was.
Yeah. You know, I don't fault anybody for how they feel. And again, you know, everybody, it does. And I think I said this when, you know, horrible figures in the world, you know, have perished. Like, for me, I can't celebrate somebody's passing. Okay. Because at some point I am going to breathe my last breath and be off this mortal coil. And, you know, based on my beliefs, there's going to be a book with a name in it, and I hope that my name's in it. And, you know, so while I may not mourn somebody, I'm also not going to celebrate that. Like, it's not that part of it doesn't resonate. And to Joe, to your point and to your question, I think time will remember differently, because, you know, you brought up JFK. Yeah, like, as a person, you know, yeah, womanizer, probably cheating. Well, we know he cheated on his wife numerous times. And he's highly regarded as one of the best presidents. And I don't know if he was one of the best presidents, but because he was assassinated, we remember him differently than if he wasn't. Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, athletes who were bad people, drunks, womanizers. Let's be fair. Athletes at that time, probably racist as well. But we remember Babe Ruth as the greatest hitter of all time, and Mickey Mantle is so. And I understand that, you know, because of technology and limitations at the time, we didn't hear things that Babe Ruth or Mickey Mantle said behind closed doors. So we have a different perspective. But I do think that, yeah, I think as time goes on, because, you know, let's be fair. Let's think about, you know, Google search what was the who was the worst person in 2005, right? Like, we probably don't remember much about that person, or like when Kevin Federline and Britney Spears went through their, marital issues. People thought Kevin Federline was the worst person in the world. And come to find out, maybe Britney just has issues and needs to be surrounded by better people. And unfortunately for her, still isn't. And Kevin Federline's just a dude who's a dad now. Like, and I'm not trying to soften what Terry did, but I just think that time, because inevitably we will find different things to reflect on differently. And and for some, again, that their feelings about the man, and in turn the character because of the man, may not change. But yeah, for me, it's complicated. I think that the word that I keep coming back to, because it's like the kid in me that, when at the end of WrestleMania 33, when Mark from Texas takes off his coat and gloves and hat and he leaves him in the ring, like, it was such a weird feeling, because I'm like, man, a part of my childhood died today. A part of my childhood died last Thursday. That's the part that is like sad-ish. Like, I don't mourn Terry, but like it's this end of this childhood figure character that I loved is gone. Not that I've seen that character the same, not like I haven't been the kid in me watching that character in a long time, but yeah, it's there's a sadness there. Like, I will mourn Bret Hart much differently than I mourned Hulk Hogan. But I said it on 3CT, like, this was the first of multiple complicated wrestling deaths that we are going to face. Not like Warrior was a little bit. There's been a couple, but these, like, there's a couple really big ones. Like, there's a couple really.
What's actually weird with Warrior was it didn't feel complicated. Like, it should have, but it didn't.
It didn't because of when it happened.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Hall of Fame 2 nights before. Showed up to WrestleMania. Had the thing at Raw. Next morning you wake up, gone.
Yeah.
So, like, would this feel less weird if when was he last on TV? Was it at WrestleMania?
Raw Netflix debut.
So that's when he got booed out of the building, basically?
Yeah.
Correct. What
if the reaction had been different? What if instead of being booed out of the building, he had been cheered? Would this feel not as weird?
I'm not sure, because I don't know. I think the people that
I think it's gonna be weird no matter what.
Yeah, I think the people that are, dancing on the grave, or however you want to verbalize it, I think would have done that anyway. Because like there's been points, we've seen him kind of get booed at WrestleMania 37, and a couple other times, but there's been other points where like Vince McMahon got cheered after the first Wall Street Journal article hit. So I think it's just it's weird. Wrestling crowds are weird sometimes. Wrestling crowds make poor choices one way or the other sometimes. But yeah, like this Ric Flair, Vince McMahon, like those are the kind of the next ones. Like I said on 3CT tonight, is like, Flair, womanizer, drunk, borderline alleged sexually inappropriate with people. And obviously we know what Vince McMahon did, but man, like when Vince McMahon dies, it's like he gave us this thing that we love, and but you're left with the reality of who Vince McMahon the person is, but you still love the WWE and wrestling. And
I'm going to use the example that Tim used about the 30 bell salute on all 3 shows, et cetera, et cetera. If you think that was bad, when you find out Vince McMahon dies, just go ahead and turn your DVR off for about the next week. Because if you think 30 bells is all that Vince McMahon's going to get, you've lost your mind. And he is a known, just as bad as Terry, horrible human being. Different reasons.
Right.
But if Vince McMahon died tomorrow, maybe not tomorrow, because Summerfest would be kind of rough to. If Vince McMahon died the Tuesday night after Summerfest, so in 5 days.
Okay.
They would cancel the NXT show. They would probably cancel fucking SmackDown. And the first time you'd see something would be something on Raw. SmackDown would be all video packages, people talking about Vince, people sharing stories about Vince, kind of like they did with Eddie.
Yeah.
And then that first gathering would be that Monday Night Raw after. And you don't think that they're not going to be 10 bell salutes on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday? You don't think that there isn't going to be some sort of in the ring remembrance of Vince? You don't think they wouldn't put like a fucking Vince with a fucking whatever in the middle of the ring on the fucking canvas?
I think it depends on basically like, okay, how do I say this? There's no sensitive way to say this. If he were to pass away and nothing more came out from what he's already been accused of, what already has come out.
If he's not actually found like guilty.
Well, I mean, even if he's found guilty, I still think there's a chance that, like, if this is the extent of it and he passes away in 5-10 years, they still go and they give him the "we're going to honor this man" treatment. He still founded us, like Mike was saying, you know. I think if between now and the time of his death, he gets found out that, like, you know, he did all these other horrible things, or like, God forbid, he kills somebody. He almost did just this past weekend. Literally almost killed somebody in a car accident. I think there's and unfortunately, this is almost the kind of thing I was saying about Terry. There's a world where the longer this man stays alive, the more time there is for him to do something that's so much worse, that if that were to happen, like, you know, this man wakes up one day and there's a dead hooker in his bed, I don't know that there's any coming back from that one, you know. But like, if it stops where we're at now, yeah, they're gonna give him the "this man created us" treatment.
Well, to play the devil's advocate role here, with their strong allegiance to Donald J., even if there is, do you think they're not going to do something for Vince?
Yeah. I mean,
you posed the question on 3CT, and I answered it in the chat. What do you have to do to not get immortalized like Hogan, like Eddie, like what you think they're going to do for Flair, like what you think they're going to do with Vince? The answer is very simple: murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Benoit,
the only one.
Checkmate.
Yeah.
Jimmy Snuka, allegedly, had his
Right.
girlfriend murdered and then pleaded insanity, they at least still gave him a 10-bell salute.
Right.
Yeah, they
What
just
do you
don't talk
do?
about him much since then.
And they haven't mentioned Chris Benoit since either, but they didn't give him a 10-bell salute when they found out that he killed his wife and kid.
Yeah, they sure dusted that that tribute episode real damn quick from the archive,
I mean,
didn't
they literally, breaking news, this just in, Unreal, if you haven't watched that, they showed a clip of Roddy Piper in hitting fucking Snuka with the coconut in it on something they just produced.
they? Yeah.
And do you remember the stories? I don't know if you've ever heard the stories, but like when they were doing the night after they found that Benoit died and they were doing the like tribute show, and like halfway through this show, halfway through producing this live, they're starting to get word of like, this isn't what we thought it was.
Right, like so the math ain't math in here,
The
folks.
math ain't mathin', yeah. And it's like, wait a second, we're doing a tribute show we probably shouldn't be doing right now. Like, wait, like it's
Right, but you're too far into the woods at that point.
Yeah, you can't just stop that abruptly and be like, hey, by the way, guys, we just got word from the fucking police.
right,
Right.
exactly.
By the way, this guy may not have just committed suicide, or just may not have
breaking
died.
news, breaking news.
Like, hey,
Yeah,
he may have not just died.
You just rip the fucking Chavo, get up. We interrupt this Chavo Guerrero remembrance to let you know that Chris Benoit actually murdered his family. He's a terrible
Right.
human being.
This just
Back-
in.
Back to test versus.
This just in. We fucked up.
Yeah.
Like you can't do it that.
No, and to Vince's credit, the very next show, he came out and was like, we fucked up.
Right. We went on a belief and then we found out something different. And
We'll never mention him again. We're moving on from it.
we're moving on, folks. Like the cop in South Park. Move along, people. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah, I also and the weird wrinkle, at least in like what they'll do for Vince versus what they'll do for Flair / Hogan, is Hogan again, it was 10 years removed. It was racist comments, and again, I'm not lessening those, but what Vince McMahon has been accused of, and now that the WWE currently is not owned by the WWE, it is owned and operated by TKO. It is a minority percentage of TKO. TKO has pretty much scrubbed Vince McMahon as much as you can from the WWE sphere, right? Like Triple H is the dude. Triple H is the quote unquote Dana White of WWE. Like he is the public face. He's in all the shows, all the back behind the scenes, taking the pictures, kissing the babies, all that. So like TKO kind of drives the bus or lets WWE drive the bus. If, depending on what information comes out and if and when we ever get resolution on the lawsuits and all of that, TKO might say, guys, say it happens on a Saturday night, you get a 10-bell on Monday Night Raw, and then we do some tribute thingies, and then we move on. And WWE might say, yeah, but, and they're like, then we move on. Or they say, you know what, fuck it, you have a week, do the week. Like, there's so many unknowns with what and when and how much we're going to know. So it's a weird speculation, but
I think he gets the week, and then he gets whatever WrestleMania that he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Again, at the weird core of the whole thing, those are going to be complicated. Vince is going to be. You thought the last 7 days was a complicated discourse with people. I think Vince is going to be infinitely more.
Here's a question. Do you think that Shane and Steph will make it into the Hall of Fame before Vince?
No. Shane because he's not around, and Stephanie because I think she'll purposely wait for her father to go in before she would accept anything.
Okay.
That's fair.
Plus,
I was going
with
to
her
say
husband-
maybe they do the McMahon family, but I still think Vince goes in first.
That's what I'm saying. I think at this point you're almost saying we can't give him a microphone. TKO, like you said, has basically scrubbed him from
Yeah.
the face of existence. So you can't give him a live mic, not until the lawsuit gets itself figured out, and then you have to make a choice then at that point. So you tell yourself, Vince is first, then it's probably the family, the rest of the family as a one induction. It's probably Shane, Stephanie, Linda in one fell swoop. Or is that your Hall of Fame class that year that Vince passes away?
That could be it as well.
If you look at it and you go, okay, Vince, the litigation stuff's still going on, and say, God willing, that it's in the next 3 months. Say it's October. WrestleMania 42. Vince is the headliner. The McMahon family is the other entries in the Hall of Fame at WrestleMania 42 in Vegas. And you save 43 for Cena.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, again, not rooting for it, not hoping for it from a humane situation. No. But like Jim said, I don't know that there's a way that we can really like think about this or map this out or plan how it's going to be, because if it's in 5 years and hey, the lawsuit was a thing, it's under the rug, never hear anything negative about Vince again, I think it's different. If it's 3 months from now and he still hasn't settled with Janelle Grant and there's still a bunch of shit going on, and then you hear something a couple weeks later about, oh, there's another person that came out, or there's another this, or there's another that, then it might be the Benoit treatment, and he may never get into the Hall of Fame.
Right. You know, and that's why, like, as we've seen all these speculation of, bro, when's Brock Lesnar coming back? He ain't anytime soon, bro.
Well, so the good news is the older you get, the harder it is to shit on a girl's head. So Vince probably won't be able to do that again anytime soon.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not wrong. It gets more difficult.
But he has the money to let Brock Lesnar shit on some girl's head.
Yeah.
That's between God and Brock Lesnar.
It's also between
Did I say his name right? Brock Lesnar.
Something like that. Whatever you say, Swedish chef.
Ersker.
So I wrap this up, at least my opinion on it, and then you guys can hit any kind of closing thought processes you have here. I'll say this. Shocking to wake up to the text message. Was not something I thought I was ready for. I feel incredibly terrible for Hulk's family. I know I've read somewhere that him and Brooke were kind of at odds and hadn't spoken, and he hadn't seen his grandchild and things along that. So, like, I hurt for them as a parent. I hurt for them in that regard, that they didn't get that ability to kind of have some kind of closure in their relationship, at least not known to the public. Maybe they did, and if they did, I'm happy for them. It's an unfortunate turn of event for a human being. Last week sucked. Let's be very transparent. Not was it just Hulk, but Ozzy and the guy from the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
We lost a lot of good ones last week. So thoughts and prayers to all their friends and families and loved ones as they're trying to navigate this hard time, and hopefully that they can find solace in knowing that fans of their characters and fans of their music and fans of their shows will remember the roles that they played and be happy about those. Now, I close it with this, at least in my regard, and I'll let you guys talk. Just be nice to people.
Yeah, I mean, again, my last thought, it's kind of the same theme I've gone with is it's complicated. Allow yourself to feel what you want to. You know, I won't tell anybody how to feel about it. I'm not going to judge people for how they feel about it. But don't tell me how to feel about it. Don't tell me when I should feel a certain way or I shouldn't feel a certain way or whatever. And I don't think we should necessarily shame. I don't think I should shame anybody for how they feel about it. And yeah, I think Mike, you hit a great point, because Chelsea Green was basically bullied out of social media because of a tweet about a person in an industry that she and her husband have dedicated their lives to. Like, can we just stop being shitty? Because your hatred of a man because he's shitty towards a race of people, right? Like that, but you are literally being shitty to people. Racism's not okay. Hatred's not okay. Being a shitty person is not okay. Like, the world sucks in so many ways right now. So like, and there's a lot of ways that we can't change it, right? Like we can't change so many things that are shitty right now. And that sucks. But you know what you're capable of changing? How you treat people. Whether it's people at the grocery store, whether it's people at the gas station, or whether it's people on social media, and sometimes maybe that celebrity doesn't see the things that you say, but the neighbor 2 blocks over, they might see it in a comment on a news post. Like, yeah, like if there's one thing anybody can take away from anything, just don't be shitty. Just don't be shitty. Like, can we just even be like the slightest bit better to each other? Then that's where I'll leave it.
I don't have a summary because I feel like I've already kind of said my feelings. Like I said, I think it's really. I'd rather go in this direction, and I'm going to extend this a little bit. I'm sorry about that. The segment's going to go a little bit longer.
Okay.
I would love for each of us to share our favorite Hulk Hogan memory.
Oh, okay.
And I'll start. My mind goes to WrestleMania 8. It was the first WrestleMania that I really watched.
You really love that show.
I do. I love that show so much.
It's such a good WrestleMania.
It is. And like subjectively, it is such a good WrestleMania, but also, like I said, it's probably the first one that I really remember watching as a kid. Like, not live as it happened, but like my aunts recorded it on pay-per-view and brought it to me the next week. And so I watched that videotape until I couldn't watch that videotape anymore, And the end of that show, Hogan versus Sid, which I still say is a great fucking match. I don't care what anybody says. And the end visual with Hogan and Warrior in the middle of the ring, Warrior with his Dixie haircut, and people weren't even sure if it was the same Warrior. But them posing and the lights, and it was everything that was Hulk Hogan. Like everything that I ever loved about Hulk Hogan was all in that moment. He was taking on a bigger challenger. He was clearly the good guy. Papa Shango was there. You know, it was everything that was Hulk Hogan to me.
Mine, and it seems odd because I'm a Bret Hart fan, but it's similar to Joe's. I know I watched WrestleMania 7 live at a friend's house, but I was like, what? I would have been less than 10. I would have been like 6.
You'd have been. What did you just turn 40?
Yeah. So WrestleMania 7 was
it would have been in 90
March of 91. So I would have been 5, right? Like
I was gonna say because I'm 43. No, I'm 41. How old am I? I'm about to be 42. I'm about to be 42, and I'm always the same age as WrestleMania.
Okay.
So
yeah.
like when WrestleMania 42 happens next year, I will be 42 years old.
I would have been 5. I would have turned 6 that July. So by the time WrestleMania 9 rolls around, I'm 7. I'm a little bit older, remembering watching it. And of course, you know, Bret's defending the title against Yoko. Or no, he's going for the title.
No, defending. I think you're right.
Title.
Yoko,
I was
Yoko
right.
won the Rumble because Randy Savage went for a pin for some fucking reason.
That's right. You got fucking yeeted. Yeet.
And wasn't Yoko also the first one to win the Rumble, and that was like a guaranteed title shot?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Bret defends the title, loses to Yoko because the salt in the eyes, and Hogan comes out, fucking saves the day, right? Leg drop. Hogan walks out as champion, and I'm just going, can that happen? Like at 7 years old, I'm going like, but he didn't. He wasn't in the Met. How did he? How? Like it was just such a crazy ending, and it was like my first. It's like my first real like Hulk Hogan memory. And you go back, it's like, man, it's the first time that I really saw and could remember like this crazy finish, and anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation. So yeah, that's the one that comes to mind.
I have a couple. I'll never forget watching Rock and Wrestling, the cool animated cartoon that they did.
Yes.
Captain Lou Albano with all of his rubber bands.
I had that shit on VHS.
So did I. Obviously,
when Jim was talking, all I had in my head was the image of Hulk Hogan getting to the gates of heaven, and Mr. Fuji's right there, and he throws salt in his eyes.
Jesus.
He pops out. He pops out from behind St. Paul, and it's just like, ho! He throws salt.
Then Yoko hits him with the fucking belly to belly.
Yes.
Big leg.
You know, so it's Rock and Wrestling. It's, you know, going back and watching the match against Warrior as I was growing up to, you know, the first real big moment for me with Hogan, and it didn't actually happen in WWE. It actually happened in WCW. I was there the night December 28th at Starrcade where Sting beat him for the world title. And it was peak heel asshole Hulk Hogan finally getting his upcomings from the guy who was WCW, and that group of evil villains made WCW fans think that Sting joined them and turned their back on him. You know, and it's to have that crowning moment to see Sting win the world title from Hogan, and then the following year being there, and you know, for the next year through, and you know, I've had a lot of really cool experiences when it comes to Hulk Hogan, and you know, obviously watching the match with Rock, with friends and members of my family and shit like that, and to him winning the world title, the WWE undisputed title, winning the tag titles with Edge from Billy and Chuck, the fun Mr. America gimmick. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I even watched him wrestle a match in TNA at a show before.
Okay.
You've seen him wrestle live more than Jim or I. I'm assuming. I don't know how many times Jim's seen Hulk Hogan wrestle live.
Probably a handful, but not a ton. Yeah.
I honestly, the only time I can recall seeing him wrestle live was at like one or two MSG house shows, because I never went to a WCW show in my life.
Mm-hmm.
My very first pay-per-view I ever went to was Mania 10, and he was already gone by then.
Yep.
So like, and then he never wrestled. Like, we saw him at a couple of the WrestleManias we went to, but we never saw him wrestle.
Correct.
Like, I definitely saw him. I can 100% say I saw him in a battle royal, because I'll never forget being really upset that like he eliminated Sid, but the referee wasn't looking, and Sid rolled back in the ring, and then he eliminated Hogan, and they gave Sid the win. I didn't shut up about it the whole way home. You could ask my aunts. I was so upset. So I know I've seen him wrestle, but it's kind of blowing my mind a little bit that like I didn't see him wrestle like a ton of times. Not like the way I've seen some other people wrestle, considering how big a fan I am of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I probably saw him anywhere between 7 to 10 times, probably, because
wow.
I mean, I lived in WCW territory. I lived in Virginia. They came to DC a lot, house shows, things along those lines. I watched a lot of it. I mean, been around it. It's a big thing, and I mean, I will wrap with that night where Sting won the world title. Obviously, will always hold a spot in my heart, but his decision to be the third man the night that he joined the NWO. There were, and spoiler alert to anyone who hasn't watched all of Unreal yet, when they get to the point where Cena turns heel, they clip in some videos of kids in tears crying that they just watched The Rock and John Cena turn on Cody Rhodes. That was me that night that Hogan walked to the middle of the ring and dropped a leg drop on Macho Man. Even though him and Macho were like the biggest rivals of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched WWE and WCW religiously. I watched both of them. So I knew who Hall and Nash were from the very beginning. Didn't think that it was a whole invasion angle. Just, okay, they left WWE. Especially when they started bringing out fake Razor and fake Diesel.
Right.
But I never thought it was Hogan. I never thought Hogan was the third guy. So that night was one of those nights where I stood up. I sat up in bed that night and was like, why Hulk? Why? And that was the moment where I was like, motherfucking got me.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously we will wrap with thoughts and prayers to Hulk's family, friends, people that were associated with Hulk, and just be fucking nice to people.
Dude, Jimmy Hart broke my heart, man.
Oh God.
Seeing Jimmy Hart, that fucking broke my heart. Again, doesn't matter how you feel about people. Jimmy Hart seems like a great dude. I've met Jimmy Hart. It's one of the sweetest people. I've been in a locker room with Jimmy Hart, and he just seems like a fun, loving, good-hearted dude. And he's hurting. So, yeah. All right, let's move on. We are closing out our Build a SummerSlam card. Again, if you haven't listened over the last couple of weeks, go back and check out the episodes from the archives there. But Pocket of Time, about a decade ish of SummerSlam shows. We pick matches. You can't repeat a wrestler. You can't repeat a title. And we have this time we're doing 2016 through 2024, which was, of course, last year. We have WWE title, mid-card title, tag title, women's title, and 5 wild card matches on this one. Joe, we want to kick us off with your first wild card match.
Absolutely. I will have you know I wrote this while we were talking about Hulk Hogan. So
1000% believe you.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the most slam dunk thing you've said all night.
and the first match that made my list, so it'll be my first wild card that I read off, is from 2018, and it is The Miz versus Daniel Bryan Danielson.
Yep, got it. Got it on mine.
Got it on mine.
It was my second to last match I put on my card, but I got it on mine nonetheless. Mike, your wild card match.
Hold on, I'm adding both of those to our list because I have the master list going.
Yes.
I will go to the year 2020, and I will go Seth Rollins versus Dominic Mysterio in a street fight.
Mark had that on his. Yeah, that one
match.
That one was really good. I have Rollins on elsewhere. That's why I didn't end up getting him on this one. But yeah, would have been a contender for sure. Mine, and this was the last match I put on the card, and I was dancing with a few different ideas. Once a few other people settled elsewhere, I have from last year's SummerSlam, Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk.
It's a good match.
Yeah, started one of the better feuds in ring wise in recent memory. Of course, led to the Hell in a Cell, which is arguably the best Hell in a Cell of WWE's history. So,
Heck in a Cell.
Joe, you're another wild card match.
So I almost had that match on my list. It was on my list, and I ended up having to take it off because I needed someone somewhere else.
Really?
Right. I mean, since Punk only wrestled the one time during this period, I guess that is a giveaway.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
So my next wild card match, I wanted to represent this particular show because Mike and I were there. And I thought, you know what? I can afford a minute 50 seconds on my card. So give me Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler from 2019.
Dude, I wanted to get that match on mine. I didn't. You'll find out a little more why later. But I wanted that because it wasn't even the match, if you can even call it that. It was the post match that was fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm somebody that doesn't like Bill Goldberg. You know,
Bill Goldberg.
But man, that post match, hilarious. Mike, your next wild card match.
I will go to the 2019 Summerfest as well. I will go Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus.
Yeah, that's on mine. That was an easy one. That absolutely very simple. That one was going to make my list. I will continue. I will stay in SummerSlam 2019. And I will go the debut of The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, taking on Finn Balor. Match, nothing special, but man, that fucking entrance. Holy shit. Take me back, man.
Yep.
That, oh, so good. So good. Yeah.
I also have that on there. Joe currently owes us 2 wild cards.
Yeah, give us 2, Joe.
Yeah, because I actually don't have either of those. All right, let me give you 2. So let me give you my a match that I feel like very deserving here. 2016. Kind of wish we'd see these guys wrestle one more time, and who knows, maybe we will. There's still time. AJ Styles versus John Cena.
That's my last one.
Mine too. So Joe's got two more.
All right. So I'll give you my last two wild card matches. Then I needed Seth Rollins on my card. The place where I found room for him was in 2021, and it was against Edge.
I think Ryan had that on his.
One of the guys on 3CT.
One of the guys did at least, yeah.
Him.
And my last wild card, because I very vividly remember this match, and it was fun. Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens versus Enzo Amore and Big Cass from 2016.
Oh, big ass. I looked at that one. I did. That was another one that I looked at.
That's another one that I'm pretty sure Mike and I were at.
I'm pretty sure we were too.
But yeah, that one was fun. I did have a look-see at that one. So that rounds out the wild card matches. Mike, why don't you kick us off with the women's title?
I will go to last year's event, the best women's title match for a lot of these Summerfest. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley from last year's Summerfest.
That's what I have also.
Yeah, that was mine, man. Looking over these, there was a few other years that had decent contenders. But
I couldn't bring myself to picking anything that involved fucking Ronda Rousey, so that killed like 5.
Yeah, that knocked a couple out.
For me, it was the story, the feud between Rhea and Liv. Like that's just one of the best female feuds they've ever had.
Dom making the turn, like turning his back on Rhea, like holy cow! Just it was such a good way to start the show. Like it just it set a tone for the night, which I thought was a pretty decent SummerSlam. Yeah, just real good stuff there. Which then of course now takes us to the tag title. I'll kick us off. I will go to SummerSlam 2022. Good old Double J Jeff Jarrett, as your special guest referee. Earn that bag, baby. If there's a bag to be earned, Jeff Jarrett's gonna find it. And he found it with the Usos and the Street Profits for the undisputed tag team titles.
I also had that. I erased the first match that I had there because I pivoted to the Dominic Mysterio Seth Rollins because I did originally have the Bar versus the Shield.
We are the Bar.
We are the Bar.
Well, I have a completely different tag match than all of that.
All right, what you got, Joe?
I took my time machine back to 2017 and went as OG tag classic as you could get. The Usos versus the New Day.
Yeah, I'm sure I looked at that one. But
I don't remember the specifics of that particular match, but because of the matches that those teams had against each other, I have no doubt it was fantastic.
Yeah. All right, which then takes us to a mid-card title. Joe, I will let you lead off with the mid-card.
So this is where I ended up fitting Drew from 2023 when he wrestled Gunther with the IC title on the line.
I also have the Ring General versus Drew.
For my Intercontinental title, this is why I couldn't get Seth Rollins elsewhere. This is why I couldn't get Dolph Ziggler elsewhere, because in 2018 they fought for the Intercontinental title. So that's where I went with that one. And which leads us to the WWE title. Mike, lead us off.
I had a couple of different choices here. I contemplated the 2017 Fatal 5-way that they did. Decided not to go with that. Then I thought about Tribal Combat because of how good that was. And then I remembered a man picked up a ring with a forklift or with a backhoe and was like, yep, there it is. This motherfucker tractor a ring. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Last Man Standing, 2022.
Joe?
Yeah, there was no question in my mind. Like Mike said, it was the moment when Roman Reigns caught the microphone. Nothing else had to happen in the rest of that match. That match could have ended 5 seconds later, and it still would have been one of the greatest main events in the history of pro wrestling.
The catch, the wink, the smile. Yep. Dude, it just... I will never be half that cool. In my life, I don't care anything that I will never be half as cool as Brock Lesnar yeeting a fucking microphone across the ring while standing on top of a fucking backhoe forklift, and Roman Reigns just catches it in his hand like it was on a frozen rope and winks at the guy. Fuck off. That's the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. Yeah, this is absolutely my WWE title match. First thing I put on the card. Yeah, that was easy. That was the easiest.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that is the Super Summerfest. I do have the master list. I will. I'll see if I can fancy it up and put it on social media at some point this week. Whenever I have a couple days off.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But, you know, it was a fun project. We did it with Mania last year. I would like to find a way to do it with Survivor Series when we get there.
We'll have to think about that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to brainstorm on that one. Maybe we pick a match from each show.
Something, yeah, something.
Because like it's gonna be hard to not use the same wrestlers twice.
Yeah, it's practically impossible, especially those early ones when
the roster was like 17 names.
Yeah, and it was just, 3 or 4 Survivor Series tag team matches. It's like, yeah, we'll have to think about how we can do that. I'm sure we can do this for Royal Rumble, in some form or fashion. Use obviously the matches themselves around, and then maybe pick like our favorite Rumble winner in the pocket.
So maybe pick one Rumble match and then pick matches from
something. We'll figure it out. A little more challenging for the logistics.
But it's something that we can take some time to figure out because we do have a couple months before we get to Survivor Series, and then a couple months after that will be the Royale Rumble.
The Royale Rumble, but that brings us to 2 nights in New Jersey. Some feel like that's a punishment, but others are paying a lot of money to go see that.
Yeah.
So
it's a punishment. They're called the New York Jets and the New York Giants.
You ain't kidding. But yeah, it's the first ever 2-night SummerSlam, Saturday, August 2nd, Sunday, August 3rd. Your pre-shows kick off at fucking 3 in the afternoon, I think it is.
1:30.
You're fucking the main show itself starts at 6, I believe, is your official start time on those. So yeah, 3-hour pre-shows each night.
Why are we going so early?
I don't know. It's the middle of fucking summer, but
like you're not gonna have a dark arena until the main event of both nights.
I mean, if that, dude, like it stays dark. Fucking what the actual sunset this evening was let's see.
Mine says 8:07.
Right, like, but it's still like not dark.
Yeah.
Mine for me says 8:18.
Yeah, that's when the sun starts to set. That's not hey, it's pitch black. So you're gonna get the main event and maybe the match before.
Yeah. Also I heard that the set construction had to be paused due to weather. There's pretty severe weather. So it should hopefully resume being assembled tomorrow. So that'll be something to watch.
Well, here's the other thing. And Joe can attest to it. When we went to WrestleMania the 2 times, they got to get people the fuck out of that city because buses stop at a certain time, and then you're fucked.
Well, I wonder if that's
That's what I started thinking about it. I go, man, if they're hard stopping like buses back to New York City for people that are traveling from the city or people that are staying in New York City and traveling into New Jersey for the show, like if that last bus leaves at midnight, I need to get people.
yeah. I
the fuck
wonder if
out of
that's
here.
part of the reason why, because of what happened at 35.
That was brutal.
All right. Let's start it off. We have the singles match. It's a Saturday night, of course. Singles match for the WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton defending against Jade Cargill. Joe.
We all win, really.
Odd hearing that from you, but yes.
Wait, what?
Oh, I didn't mean in that way.
Oh, well then go on.
I meant like for the memories, not the memories.
I mean, where Mike and I are sitting, it's the both.
Leave the memories alone.
I don't want to.
Like they kind of both just look like drag queens.
Come on, you don't have to be like that.
I don't mean that in a negative way. Like if they were going to lip sync instead of wrestle, I think it might be more entertaining.
I'd actually be down for that. I think that'd be a fun time.
I bet Jade Cargill could lip sync better than she could wrestle.
Probably not wrong. May not be wrong. I'm just saying. May not be wrong on that one.
I'm gonna take my girl Jade. I think she's gonna win the belt here.
All right, Mike.
So I was all on Show Me the Carfax up until about 25 minutes ago, and I saw something that popped into my TikTok thread, and I go, ooh, that makes a ton of sense. We just finished the Jade Cargill Naomi part 1 of that feud before Bianca Belair gets cleared. I don't know that I want her fighting Naomi for the Crown Jewel title at Crown Jewel that they have, where the champions take each other on to determine who's the Crown Jewel champion. So, like, that's where I'm stuck now. It's like, maybe Naomi comes out and costs Jade Cargill the title. Tiffy wins with help. Not wanted help, but help. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going with.
Okay. This one's weird because it's like Jade, I don't think can really lose clean.
That's kind of where I'm stuck
like,
at.
What you're saying, you know, so it's like it's either she's definitely going to just win, or there's going to be some sort of
somebody's getting involved.
I'm gonna go with Joe. I'm gonna say Jade wins.
And you guys
not necessarily wishing for it, just saying
you guys are both probably right. I just don't know that you can go back to Naomi versus Cargill if they do that Crown Jewel title thing again.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Is Crown Jewel on the calendar this year?
Yeah, it's in Perth.
Yeah, I was gonna say then maybe they don't do it because it's not in
Saudi Arabia.
So.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's kind of what I'm expecting. Then, if it's in, I assume that if it was going to be in Saudi. If it was anywhere.
No, I think it's Crown Jewel Perth this year. I think it's October.
Yeah. So, all right.
And that's because the Royal Rumble is in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Next one. And he did get his flight into the U.S., so this match is still on. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll taking on Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Joe.
Well, I don't see the actual celebrity in this match losing, so give me Orton and Jelly Roll.
All right, there you go, Mike.
Definitely getting Tim the Arcade Roll shirts.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Those have to be Christmas presents. similar to what Joe's saying, like how many times does the celebrity come in and actually lose? Not very many. But I would love to see Drew just hit fucking Jelly Roll with a Claymore. Just because.
Just because.
That being said, I'll take RK Roll.
Yeah, it's RK Roll here. That one's easy. Tag team match for the women's tag team titles. It is Raquel and Roxanne taking on Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Joe.
I think we get new tag champions here. Give me Charlotte and Alexa.
All right, Mike.
I'm trying to find something real quick. Please hold.
My answer is Charlotte and Alexa. I really think it's whether Liv is capable of making a run in to cost them the titles or not. I just think WWE is having a lot of fun with this Charlotte Alexa team right now. So capitalize, make people care about these titles.
So the other day I was on WWE Shop and they have basically the Alexa Bliss entrance jacket in a ProSphere zip-up hoodie with the back that says Friends for Eternity with where it's the Fiend with the written in letters.
Mm-hmm.
I've never wanted to spend $90 more on a fucking hoodie in South Florida than I did on that when I saw it. That being said, they are not friends. They're allies of convenience. But they're becoming friends. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a fun pairing. I didn't like it at first, but man, it's turned out to be a lot of fun. Tag team match: Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Joe.
I don't see how Roman and Jay are main eventing a SummerSlam and not winning.
Yeet.
Mike.
4 letters, 1 word.
Dick. I laughed so goddamn hard. I laughed so hard at that one. There's been some really good ones.
Did you see the one that I sent you guys earlier?
No, wait, hold on, let me pull that up.
It's The Rock.
Oh, wait. Okay, what's this one?
Fuck. 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 Fuck your story.
Okay. But holy hell.
4 letters. 1 word. Uzi.
Oh, wait, that's the Uzi one.
I was get to the.
Oh, my God, that one's so good, too. Wait, is it this one? Hold on, I gotta. Oh, yeah, okay.
4 letters. 1 word. Dick.
Dude, I don't want this trend to end anytime soon.
Never.
I'm good. I'm good with this, continuing a bit.
So my pick was actually be 4 letters, 1 word. Stop. Bronson squared via tsunami. No, it's gonna be Uso and Roman. I'm just fucking with you guys.
Dude, it's weird, man. I'm actually picking Braun.
This match is ridiculously closer today than I think it would have been if Seth was actually healthy.
I agree, because they gotta continue
This
the
vision.
power in this group.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. If Braun and Bronson win, will not be surprised at all in the slightest.
Yeah, I'm going with them. That's what I really do. I think they got it. In the let me go grab a drink before the main event special. Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross, and follow along if you can. If Kross wins, Zayn has to say the words "Kross was right." If Zayn wins, Kross must say "I was wrong" about
boot?
Zayn. Cool, Joe.
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna take the guy with the facial hair and the long hair and over his face.
Great pick. That's a great pick.
Yeah, I feel like you know what? Fuck it. I feel like Karrion Kross needs the win. Karrion Kross.
All right, Michael.
I think there's a very telling thing that's going to take place with this match. If Kross is staying, if him and Scarlett have signed an extension, he wins this match. If they have not, and he is on his way out, he will do business the right way, and Sami will get the win. That being said, I will take Karrion Kross to get the victory.
Yeah. It feels like it has to be Kross if you're bringing him back.
Correct.
I feel like they almost have to be at this point, but we don't know. You know, there's no official wording on things being signed, but yeah, I'm gonna go Karrion Kross. Then we close out it's WrestleMania. Jesus H.
Close enough.
SummerSlam, WrestleFest, Summer Wrestle Slam Saturday, with the World Heavyweight Championship match. Gunther defending against CM Punk. Joe.
I don't feel like I think that Punk is going to be champion when this is over. I don't buy into that Rollins isn't really injured and is going to come and cash in. So by default, give me Gunther holding on to the belt.
All right, Michael.
So, as I wear the CM Punk shirt right now, I've racked my brain on this match because of what I have going on in the other main event. I live in this world where they're still going to do that crown jewel champion or whatever, or at least they're going to have the champions take on the other champions. So I tell myself, okay, CM Punk versus John Cena, something we've all wanted. We've all wanted that during this. But then I tell myself, is it really John Cena that's going to walk out of SummerSlam with the title? The one thing I will say for sure, CM Punk will beat Gunther for the title. Will he walk out of MetLife with the title is another question. I say yes. Because I do think Seth inevitably does cash in. But if Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed beat Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, it's probably going to be a slugfest. It's probably going to be a hard-hitting contest. Seth being injured, you could still have Seth cash in on a lifeless CM Punk, win the title, and then just take the title and leave for a couple weeks. I think you save the cash in. I think you make people walk out of SummerSlam going, fuck, maybe Seth really is hurt. Because we just keep talking about how Seth's going to cash in because he doesn't want Punk to be the champion. Well, here's the deal. If it's 1, 2, 3 and CM Punk gets announced as the world champion, whether he holds the title for 3 seconds or whether he holds the title for 30 days, you failed your mission.
Right.
Mission failed.
Mm-hmm.
So failed the mission to have the moment where Bronson and Braun come out and destroy CM Punk on an episode of Raw to where Seth Rollins, all he has to do is walk in the ring. He could hobble down there on crutches.
Right.
Me with one good leg is better than CM Punk. You just don't see Phil. You just don't see Seth for a couple weeks while he's rehabbing, while he's doing whatever. Punk wins. Punk walks out of MetLife with the title. Now, will there potentially be a tease of a cash-in? I do think that'll happen. And then I do think Roman Reigns and Jey Uso will come out and kind of continue the feud with the Oracle. And Punk will have his moment with the title at the end of the show.
Yeah, short answer, Punk wins the title. That's the short answer.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like a 25% chance that the Seth injury is a work. It felt weird at Saturday night's main event. Feels weird that like WWE tries to be very like pro sportsy when reporting on injuries to their wrestlers now. And like we heard Seth was being further evaluated and then we really haven't heard about him since. That's a little strange. Obviously there's the history there. Heyman and company are going to be in the building. It's there's a chance it's real. There's a chance it's a real injury and he's still going to be out for a little while and whatnot, but there's definitely something in the air, like knowing this is going to be the close of the show or should be the close of the show, to where you could see something happen. So Punk wins the title for sure, and either does or doesn't leave MetLife with the world title. So that's where we're at on that. That's how we close out SummerSlam. I almost said WrestleMania Saturday again. It's what these fucking 2-night thingies are going to do to me. Now we move to Sunday. We start with a 6-pack tables, ladders, and chairs match for the tag team titles. The Wyatt Six defending against Andrade and Rey Fenix, DIY, Fraxium, the Motor City Machine Guns, and the Street Profits. Joe.
Give me the Lucha Cousins.
All right. Michael.
They just put the titles on them. I don't think it makes sense to take them off of them yet. Give me Gacy and Loomis.
Yeah, and you just had the announcement of the Universal Halloween horror thingy. Yeah, this feels like we're going to be in Wyatt season for a little while. And
I do like that Universal is selling some Fiend-esque.
Yeah, it's a cool thing all around. I'm not into the whole usually spooky dooky stuff, but yeah, this one should be pretty cool. I'll be looking forward to when the ride watch along videos.
Exactly. The things that I'm not going to go do it.
Yeah. All right. Next one, we have the Intercontinental title match. Dominic Mysterio defending against AJ Styles.
Let's go, AJ.
All right. Michael?
Well, Dominic Mysterio is about to win the AAA title, so he's got to drop the Intercontinental title to win that title. So give me the phenomenal AJ Styles.
I think Dominic's going to retain, and people are going to accuse WWE of trying to copy Mercedes 12 belts with Dominic 2 belts. So
then at that point, put the title on El Grande Americano.
Exactly. So I'm watching SummerSlam 2014. I think it's 2014. Yeah, and I've gotten to the Brie Bella Stephanie McMahon match, and man, I forgot how on point Stephanie McMahon was in 2014. Good for her all around. Next one is the Jacob Fatu's not losing, right? Like he's definitely Jacob Fatu is going to win back the U.S. title.
Shouldn't lose.
I feel like the better question is how much of Solo Sikoa is going to survive.
Yeah, this should be a beatdown. Just an old school ass kicking.
Yeah, he's gonna beat him so bad he's gonna legitimately think he's the weekend when it's over.
Dude, I totally forgot they had fucking Rousey and Shayna Baszler and Marina Shafir and company in the front row for that match.
The 4 horsewomen.
Yeah, gross. So yeah, I'm picking Jacob here. You guys picking Jacob?
Oh yeah, Jakob.
All right. That one's pretty easy. Next one, no disqualification, no countout, last chance match for the women's intercontinental title. If Becky Lynch wins, Lyra Valkyria can no longer challenge for the title as long as Becky is the champ. Joe.
I mean, with that kind of a stipulation, I feel like Lyra has to win because otherwise, what are we doing?
Right. You can't arm tie your only 2 women's mid carders on Monday Night Raw. Michael.
I think they're pivoting to something else for the women's mid card title. I do think Lyra Valkyria is going to win.
Okay.
But I do not think Becky Lynch will be her first challenger. I also don't think it'll be Ballet because I think Becky Lynch and Bayley are going to form a tag team to go after Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair.
Ooh, okay.
So give me Lyra to win this so that Becky and Bayley can try to help build the women's tag division to be something more than just a team.
All right. Yeah, I like Lyra to get the title back here. Becky has to move on to different things. I think Lyra works in that spot. I think she's absolutely been killing it. It's what the mid-card title should be for. All right, second to last match here, triple threat match for the women's world title. Naomi defending against Rhea and Io Sky. Joe.
I feel like Naomi has to hold on to it. Otherwise, again, what are we doing? But I actually think this is going to be a great match, so I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Mike.
Back to my previous thought process on if they decide to do this stupid title champion bullshit. If Naomi loses here, it makes zero sense. I know they want Rhea Ripley probably in a title match going back into Adelaide, Australia, and all of that. That's where I think maybe she goes and fights Lyra Valkyria for the U.S. title or the Intercontinental title. So it has a big spot on a show. Naomi retains.
Yeah, Naomi should absolutely retain, but I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't concerned that the WWE will just hit the Rhea button. Yeah. Yeah. It should absolutely be Naomi. You had such, I think she's been killing it. So don't fix what isn't broken, or don't break what isn't broken. Either way, I'm an idiot.
Can I ask a question here?
Yeah.
I know you're a huge Rhea Ripley fan.
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel weird to low-key kind of not want her to win?
Yes and no. It just, like, again, I love Rhea, but I also love variety in my wrestling, and I love not, you know, you go back and you look at the title history, and you go from like 98 through, 2001, and there was like 58 title changes, and there was 4 different champions. Like, I think WWE is doing the women's division a disservice by just continuing to just fall back into Rhea Ripley. Like, I get she's your Stone Cold. Like, I guess that's one thing Triple H said in this, either in an interview this week or on the Unreal show, that he views Rhea as a Stone Cold, and that's fine. You can have a Stone Cold.
Stone Cold always the champion.
Right. Like, Stone Cold did some of his best work when he wasn't even really wrestling. And I get like that was because of an injury, but like lean into that. Have Rhea be a character. Have Rhea start feuds with different people for different reasons. So, yeah, it is a little weird, I guess, but I'm just such a fan of the women's roster, and the WWE's women have so much to offer right now. They need to stop pigeonholing themselves. All right, last one. Street fight for the undisputed WWE Championship. John Cena defending against Cody Rhodes.
So I've been thinking more and more about this one. I do feel like we're reaching the point where we're gonna see Cena turn face again. I feel like we're in the home stretch. I don't know how many dates he's got left, but I feel like it's 9. You said?
I believe the number is 9, and 3 of them are stateside.
Yeah.
So, given all of that, I feel like we're about to enter the stretch where we're going to see him turn good again, because I don't think he's going out as a bad guy. You know, I feel like, if we're being honest, I don't know that the heel turn has been the greatest thing of all time. I feel like it's had some cool moments, and obviously it's something that we all had really wanted to see for a very long time. I think in a way, and I was thinking about this actually while watching Unreal. While watching, there's a scene in, I think it was either the first or the second episode, where Cena is doing Make-A-Wish stuff and signing autographs and talking to people and, you know, hearing out these kids. And I'm just looking at this and I'm like, this is why Vince never wanted to turn Cena heel. Because at the end of the day, John Cena is just not a heel. John Cena, as a person, is a genuinely good, caring, like, genuine guy. You know, Hulk Hogan turned heel in the NWO. It was shocking, but it was kind of easy to accept at the end of the day because he already kind of had a reputation for not being the best person. You know, The Rock comes and turns heel, and again, it's kind of like, yeah, I've kind of heard he's an asshole in real life too. This kind of makes sense. He apparently tried to take over the DC movie universe, like before James Gunn got there. You know, imagine like that. That would have been crazy. But, you know, there a lot of these guys that were big faces that eventually turned heel, they kind of had reputations a little bit for, you know, not being the best people, at least attitude-wise, if nothing else. So, it became a thing that was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. I feel like some of this Cena heel run has proven why for so long he was never turned heel before, you know? I'm glad it happened. I feel like it was something fresh, it was something original, and it would have been sad if he retired and it never happened, even for a short time. So I think it's great that they did it. I think it's okay at this point to progress the story and to also kind of say, hey, look, we've done what we can with this. There's not really much else to do here. And kind of move on from it. And I think that includes dropping the title. I think that includes Cody winning. And, you know, I don't know what happens after that. I don't know if it would be amazing if The Rock showed up, but I'm not holding my breath for that. But if someone's out there attacking Cody after the match and Cena ends up being the hero, you know, I think that's a smart way to go. I think that's a way that gets us to wherever is happening next, and, you know, what those 9 dates look like and who we're building up to be the last opponent. Because there was a time for a long time where I thought the last opponent would be would be Cody. I don't think we're seeing Cena versus Cody 3 times in his last year. I think this is it. This is the last time you're seeing Cena versus Cody. So given that, I don't know who's going to be Cena's last opponent, but I don't think it's going to be a good guy. I think it's going to end up being a heel. I think it's going to end up being, somebody on that side of things. Or if it is a good guy, it's a totally different kind of good guy, good guy versus good guy match or something. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's going to be that last opponent, but I feel like we're going to have to start the road to get to whoever that person is,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think Cody's going to win this one.
All right, Mike.
You all saw the headache that I had when I talked Gunther versus CM Punk. Champion versus champion, John Cena versus Gunther, heel versus heel, Cody versus Punk, face versus face. Unless the double turn takes place at the Summerfest. CM Punk will walk out of night one with the title. He'll face Cody Rhodes at Clash or whatever, Night of Champions and whatever in Australia in the champion versus champion match. And Cody will go into that match as a heel because of what's going to happen at the Summerfest. And that is going to be who John Cena will have his retirement match against. 4 letters, 1 name, Drew. Because The Rock is going to make an appearance. Because no one has brought The Rock up. That's why I think it's in play. I made the joke on 3CT tonight of Jim's favorite song hitting. Travis Scott coming out.
God,
he was an integral part of some of what they showed on Unreal.
Oh.
Cena thinks Travis is coming out to help him. He stops halfway down the ramp. Rock music hit. Now Cena definitely thinks that it's, my boys are coming out to help me. Until he turns around and eats an absolute rocket of a Claymore from Drew McIntyre. It's at that point that Cody starts to wake up, sees them in the ring, and is torn. What do I do? What do I do? Title's laying there on the ground. The Rock picks it up and says, "Live the dream." Crossroads, new champion, Drew McIntyre is the reason why John Cena loses the world title. And John Cena versus Drew McIntyre from somewhere in Boston, sometime in December, is John's last match. For a while, I was hoping it was going to be Dwayne himself, and we'd get the rubber match of Dwayne versus John. But since Dwayne has become a member of the TKO board, his guy has always been Drew McIntyre. Time to push the chips in the middle.
If we get the double turn, I'm cool with Cody winning.
Correct.
If we don't get the double turn, just give me Cena and let's get out of here somewhere else and figure out a way to get him face before he makes his final US stops at the end of the year. Because I'm here for a Cody heel run. I'm here for that. But I'm not here for quarterback Cody Rhodes world champion again.
I can't. You're going to be upset by this one. I can't take Troy Aikman fucking Cody Rhodes anymore.
Yeah, no, I'm out. I'm out on that. I'm big out on that. Definitely out on that. Just,
I mean, he ain't got to be a heel for long.
No.
But he's got to go to that dark side to win the title back.
For sure, absolutely. All right, well, that's SummerSlam. We got wrestlers of the week. Joe, you got wrestlers of the week for us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Go first then, bud.
Okay. So my first one. It's actually for something outside the ring, but I still think like big ups to her, big props for her role in Happy Gilmore 2, now streaming on Netflix. Give me Becky Lynch.
Love that. Love it. Fantastic. 10 out of 10 on Happy Gilmore 2, by the way. I will go with somebody inside the ring. Hangman Page retained the AEW title last night.
All right. I don't know if you know this, Jim, because
I
you guys
do.
were recording. You know where I'm going?
Yeah, I know where you're going.
The new TNT
Yep.
champion, the proto star, Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, I heard the match was really, really good, by the way, too.
It says that it was 16 and a half minutes on Cage Match. I'll probably watch it tomorrow afternoon, so I don't have to work tomorrow. So I'll probably watch it tomorrow afternoon.
There you go. All right, Joe.
On Max, the one to watch.
Max, the one to watch. Yeah.
It's a great app. Also a great app is Netflix, which features Happy Gilmore 2 right now. You should totally check it out. And starring in it is none other than Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF.
I'm really glad you gave us those
You
two.
fucking mark!
I can just skip over whenever I do my voting at the end of the night.
Yeah, that's so good. She retained the ROH women's title on Collision this past week. Athena.
Let's see what else happened. I'm gonna pick this just because they have one of the coolest tag team names in AEW right now. I'm gonna go with Brodito, Brody King and Bandito, who won their AEW tournament quarterfinal match, defeating the Gates of Agony.
Nice.
Just because I think that's a cool ass name.
There you go.
All right, so that's Wrestlers of the Week. That is Wrestlers of the Month.
Oh shit! It sure is.
We are officially in August, as it is now 12:45, August 1st. Programming note: check our social media. Next week, probably gonna have the show on Wednesday night, as I have to work on Thursday. Check the social media. Probably Monday we'll make the formal announcement if we're gonna have a show or if we're taking the week off. Yeah, Joe, you got anything you want to plug before we go?
No, I'm good.
You guys haven't done a Joe and Joe Happy Gilmore review yet?
No, we haven't done Happy Gilmore yet. We did a show recently. I don't know if it's up yet, but we gotta get back. He's not a superhero movie guy, so like no Fantastic Four, no Superman. You know, it kills most of the month.
That's fair. That's fair.
I saw those movies, of course, and they were
So why
both
don't
great.
Joe Solo podcast.
And there's only a few things I do solo.
Nope. There's no things you do solo.
I love you, Solo.
I'm just gonna leave that where we left it. Yeah, for me, hit at Big Jim Sports on Twitter and Blue Sky. Hit the link tree there. Take you to Huddle Up Podcast. We have 2 recent episodes that we have dropped by Joe. So check those out. We'll have some live content coming up this Tuesday, and then a couple more episodes in the can before we start up the live season at the end of, well, I can say at the end of this month, previewing the college football season. We are less than a month away from that. So we're going to be back up and running weekly on Huddle Up Podcast. 3CT, we are back online on the podcasting feed, so you can search 3 Count Thursday on all your podcast catchers. Look for the WWE block style logo over there. That's the new one. That's where you'll find our new episodes. You can get everything on our YouTube and all of that on the archives. Hit our link tree on all of our social media there. So yeah, that's all my projects going on right now.
You can follow me on Twitter at They Call Me Bird and follow the show at Take the Number 3 Wrestling. I don't really have any other stuff going on. So that's it. We'll be back next week to recap what happened at the Summerfest. Maybe talk about the double turn of the century. Maybe we'll talk about some other stuff. Join us next week and find out. Until then, for Joe and Jim, I'm Mike. We'll see you next week right here on the Take 3 Wrestling Podcast.